Hey folks, we're back. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office, North Georgia's only live online morning show. I want to thank you for your call this morning from Towns County. Talk to a viewer. Let's let people know how they can get in touch with the show. We had a caller from Towns County, 706-889-9700, chief at FetYourNews.com. And I returned the call during the break. I got to talk to a great viewer up there in Hiawassee, Georgia this morning. So FYNTV.com, there's all the social media ways. Now, we talked about the crime bill. We talked about round them up, right? Put them in jail. Why is the media going nuts over this? Because Donald Trump has a plan to use this crime bill in a way that Joe does not want to see it happen in the inner cities. Let me get to my page here. I just had it. Okay. I just had it. Okay. Let's see. NPR. We talked about the crime bill. Talked about how it sent the money. Okay. Let's see, where is it at? There, let's see, here is the one, Trump's 2020. Okay, here it is. It's from Axios, Jonathan Swan. Okay, and it was posted 37 minutes ago. And this says Trump's 2020 plan to target black, Hispanic, and suburban female voters. Trump campaign officials have been discussing a digital campaign to boost President Trump's 2020 support among three key demographics, okay? Groups: African Americans, Hispanics, and suburban women. Two sources familiar with the plan tell Axios why it matters, okay? These are groups the president must make inroads with the most. Trump won in 2016 with less support from black and Hispanic voters than any president in at least 40 years per Reuters. And in 2018, suburban women revolted against Republicans in midterms, a shift that was widely seen as a direct rebuke to Trump. Now keep in mind, we're reading this from the perspective of Axios and Jonathan Swan, and this again is to put out opposition research for Democrats. We have confidence that we'll make great inroads with key voters, a senior Trump campaign official told Axios. Examples of planned messages per the official. Across the board, the campaign plans to play up the strong economic and historic low unemployment. For Hispanics, they emphasize that Trump supporters school choice, and expanding educational opportunities. All right. For African Americans, the campaign will tout that how Trump supports health care policies that protect patients with pre-existing conditions. They'll also play up the administration's success on criminal justice reform. So, now, they go on to do reality checks. But here's examples for target areas. I absolutely love this article because it highlights, I am telling you, Democrats are scared to death. And that's why I keep saying the impeachment question is now or never. There's Democrats that are saying now or never. Examples of target areas: Detroit, Michigan. Why would you do that? Specifically, Oakland and Macomb counties. Trump won blue-collar Macomb by 12 points in 2016, while Democrat Governor Gretchen Whitmer And Senator Debbie Stabenow won it by narrow margins in 2018. Oakland was one of only 8 counties Hillary Clinton took in 2016. Okay? Let me say this. They are in total fear, and that's why they're upset, because Trump is absolutely a brilliant campaigner. Now, we can argue his policies. We can argue over the mustache, John Bolton. We can argue over Iran. We can argue over North Korea. We can argue that all day long. We can argue over tariffs. Yesterday, the bond market, according to the deep state media, the bond market sent the biggest signal yet of an economic downturn. Now, I just have to be clear with you. These are some of these outstanding wins of change I'm not real clear about, okay? I understand it, and I have people I can go to and ask the questions that actually understand what's happening. But I do know that there's a group far beyond Donald Trump and the White House that control the money cycle of this world and this country. I do know that, and they can turn it up and turn it down, and they will if need be. And Donald Trump threatens that. And we'll just leave that alone for right now. But I have told you this on the show, and if you've been a viewer for quite some time, you'll catch on to this. Why Detroit? Why this campaign by Trump? Why the crime bill? Because let me tell you something. This is just very clear. In Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. You're so tired of hearing this. Mitt Romney, extra white. This guy is so extra white, Mitt Romney, okay? Mitt Romney did not get one vote in Philadelphia. One. Not one. They didn't even accidentally, nobody went in and was feeble and said, I accidentally voted for Mitt Romney. I understand, look it up, he didn't get a vote. Now, why did Trump win Pennsylvania? Because he got enormous numbers, okay? Enormous numbers in the middle of the state, in the rural area of the state of Pennsylvania, enormous numbers. So what Trump needed was a small number, but he needed some out of Philadelphia. He needed a small number, but he needed some out of Pittsburgh. If he could just get that, because he has blown Hillary away in the rest of the state. Now that was candidate Trump. Now the people in Pennsylvania know him. He landed there, last week or week and a half ago? 15,000 people, maybe 10,000 outside in the middle of nowhere. Joe Biden went down the elevator and come out of one of those big buildings in Philadelphia on a beautiful Saturday and couldn't get 3,000 people in a liberal city like Philadelphia. Folks, Trump got enough votes in Philadelphia that they could not overcome the lead. That was candidate Trump. That was pre-crime bill. You got it? That was pre-crime bill. He got enough votes in Detroit. Nothing to brag about, but enough to overcome. His campaign knows they still have rural America. If the county I'm sitting in voted for Donald Trump by 82%, they'll probably vote for him by 86% this time. I'm just saying. Just saying, okay? So this does not change where I'm sitting. What will change is the campaign will send a focus. They will do a digital campaign as hard as they can into the inner cities. And you watch and see what happens. Okay? You watch and see those clips of police officers or somebody rounding up, or not, maybe not police officers, maybe prison cells full of young black men in America. How about that sound? It's always, how about that sound of the prison door shutting? You know, that's that cold, eerie sound that just like, whoa, that was cold. That's deep. What if you hear that sound and you see a prison absolutely full of young black men, and say in 1994, Bill Clinton, and with the help of Joe Biden helped put you in jail. How many people in the inner city are going to connect to that? How many people are going to see that and connect? You run campaigns in Philadelphia, you run campaigns in Pittsburgh, you run campaigns in Detroit, you run them in the inner cities across this country, in the states that you won. Wisconsin, go down to Madison. Okay, you go to the states you won that gave you the 314 or whatever electoral college votes, which, my God, popular vote, there's another question. But you go to those states that you won first and foremost, and you saturate those inner cities with those commercials, and you saturate the inner cities with the digital marketing on the internet, Facebook until they pull them down, and you just blow up those inner cities, and you have that door and those young black men, and say, Joe Biden helped put these young men in prison. Donald Trump signed criminal reform. You know, we think there's possibility that these young men could be productive members of society. Okay, so Trump's 2020 plan to target black, Hispanic, and suburban female voters. Their hope is that their hope is that suburban female voters will not vote for Trump based on the abortion laws. That's their hope they're begging for right now. Okay? I think the economy, and let me say this, I obviously, and you did too, and women, we lived through 2009, 2010, and 2011. We lived through that, okay? That's not a long time ago that women in America, and we're going to stay focused on that, did not know if they would get another job, did not know if they would get another job that paid like the last job. They weren't worried about wage disparity. Now, don't get that wrong. I'm not, maybe there's some wage disparity out there I'm not aware of, but women were wondering, could I get that job again that paid so well? Can I get another job? Will my husband get a job? Honey, we got the foreclosure letter in the mail today. How are we going to juggle the money working two jobs to pay the bill? I'd say that's just where I'm from, okay? I think all across America, if women, and I know I'm stuttering because I'm not being negative here or drawing a role or determining a role of a woman or a house, whether they household technicians, I don't know. I'm not determining the role, but if a woman goes to work and they've got a good solid job, and now this is this is under the the ideal that you have husband, wife, family. Okay, outside of that, I can't figure it out. A woman goes to work, has a pretty good job, as good as the last one that she had before the economic collapse. Her husband has a job. She's not running to the bank to try to make a deposit to cover a check for groceries. I'm not joking. And when you say suburban, don't get caught off guard. Don't think if you go in the suburban area that every Lexus and every BMW you see are people that are just doing that great. Don't get caught up in that. Woman has a job, husband has a job, kids got enough money to buy cleats for soccer, got enough money to buy baseball bats, they're $500 now. Got time to go to their kids' game, don't have to rush home to the mailbox to see who's suing them or what kind of financial pressure they're under. Trump campaigns effectively in those areas, he will be fine. But the crime bill, 1994, Joe Biden helped incarcerate your family in 1994. Are you going to let him in the White House? I don't think so. Watch and see what happens in the inner cities. Trump campaign is so on top of this. The Dems are scared to death. Let's take a break. We'll come back and talk about Amash, Representative Amash, and the hero he's become to the Democrats.